ready.
Yep.
I mean, my audio's breaking like hell, but sure.
Yeah, mine is too, lagging a little bit.
Oh, so it's not just me? Cool.
No, it's
Yeah,
just
I'm
a lot
lagging
of
really
people.
bad.
Hello.
A little bit of lag.
There's
Still
quite a few
loading.
people.
No,
no.
it's just lag.
I was so lagged.
There's just
So
too many
lagged.
people.
So lagged.
I think it's because
Turn your nameplates
Sorry.
off. That may help you a little.
How do you turn
How do you
off
do that while
infiltration?
on video?
Control N for nameplates. Control H to turn your microphone icon off.
Thank you.
Fucking. Oh, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Has anyone ever used OVR drop? And then
I've
used the OVR drop with the Steam mirror on your desktop? That is quite a bizarre scene.
I have not done.
It's very interesting, I'll tell
to
you
be
that for
honest,
free.
I got no idea what you just.
All good. Very well. Well, I'll start with a brief recap of what happened in the last screening then. After defeating the Orc Lord and the Orc army, Rimuru then took all of the Orcs under his care as he created the Great Coalition of the Jura Forest, naming every single one of the 150,000 surviving Orcs and setting them up in their own villages.
My audio's just bad.
He then went back to his own...
Sorry, frame rate is unbearable.
Oh.
God damn.
Honey?
I think it's just there's way too many people. That's the problem.
It's probably a little too popular.
Lag is crazy.
If you face the wall,
Did we have like the same amount of people for 50
God
Shades?
damn.
Nah, fuck them.
Yes, what's going on?
For 50 Shades.
I'm not getting any lag at all.
I mean, the rest of us are
I think I need to
lagging like hell.
restart my.
I got a solid 60 FPS here.
Everybody look down. Everybody look down. Don't look at the other models.
What video card do you have?
I don't know, just...
I've only got a 1050.
Should go to the default avatar.
I have a 1070 and I shouldn't be lagging.
15.
Yeah.
People could go to the Wi-Fi avatar.
This game is like almost entirely processor based.
Usually.
Because the audio is extremely choppy. Everything else is smooth for me.
Well, this puts a bit of a damper on and everything, doesn't it? Does everybody want to change to the Y-bot avatar? See if that will help.
Get out of here.
Okay, sure, we can do that.
The what avatar?
You wanna go, Hank?
The Y-bot avatar. One of the default avatars.
Where the fuck everyone going?
Breaker. Oh, I see you guys. Where are you, Breaker?
Alright.
Little...
Nah, I don't think I'll do.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, just join a server and I'll join on.
No, it's working.
This is horrible.
It's working.
It actually is
Yo,
working.
Yes.
Yep.
Hank Limes is working, man. Get your ass back here.
It's fixed.
I think
Gentlemen switch to
It's
the
not
Y-bot
completely
avatar.
fixed, but it's a little bit better.
everybody is going to need to learn how to optimize their avatars moving forward. Otherwise, we'll continually lag.
Sorry, my 19,000 calls.
It is more about how many materials and draw calls your models are using.
Oh, you guys already.
What's a draw caller?
You guys
So
already
much
changed
better.
avatars. Okay.
Every Y-bot you see here only has one draw call.
300 IQ, just saying.
Rick and Morty style.
My avatar also
Is everybody feeling a little better?
Alright, they're
Yeah.
Feeling like a genius. Yeah.
Thank you.
This avatar is
Why did
completely
that help audio,
optimized, so
though?
I should be good. That would be because you're lagging, so it keeps cutting out.
Back up, you I can't change.
Very well. Where were we up to? Ah, I wasn't reading it, that's why.
It's not working.
Alright.
Yoshi wants a lot better.
After setting up all of the villages of the Orcs, he then went back to his own village and began development there, moving forward with his plans to eventually leave and explore the world for other world travelers from his home planet. Well, home realm, I guess you could say. And then we saw the side story. of the Demon Lords sending people to meet with the slime. We now begin at chapter 48, where we left off, the Demon Lord's invasion. Demon Lord Milim Nava, Devil Grucius, and Devil Mulan observed the city Tempest from above while discussing their next move. Devil Grucius sighed mentally. After running without a moment of rest, they finally reached the city. What a terrible person Milim is! Any mistake while interacting with her could lead to a great disaster. He believed this fact with his entire being. So how should he converse with her from now? After staying with her for a while, he realized her complete lack of dishonesty. She is honest to an extreme. Of course, monsters are not good with lies, but they are not as restrained as the world tends to believe. While this doesn't apply to high-ranking demons, most other monsters have no problem telling small lies. And if such a monster also happens to omit the truth, they would have no problem conducting successful negotiations. However, Demon Lord Milim probably hasn't even heard the word negotiation. She boldly declares her demands and rampages if they are rejected. That's the kind of image she gives off. Originally, Grucius had intended to observe the situation while hiding his identity as a high-ranking devil. However, Milim would never even consider such secrecy. She unfortunately believes that if you are working, there is no need to hide anything. Now then, how should he proceed? What could he say to continue working on his own? Devil Grucius was desperately thinking of a way out. Devil Mulan did not see any chance of this mission succeeding, because suddenly they were plagued by Demon Lord Milim. She is, after all, a demon lord who focused on strength, so her complete incompetency in espionage makes her a hindrance. However, she can't just say that to her face, and besides, since Demon Lord Clayman failed to hold her back, in the first place, he has no right to complain, she thought. Marionette Master, what a joke. Pushing this baggage of a demon lord on them and demanding secrecy. Impossible much? He should have lived up to his nickname and manipulated her despite the fact that she is a fellow demon lord. Hiding her complaints in the dark corners of her mind, Mulan considered her next steps. She noticed the identically troubled look on Grucius's face, and they locked eyes for a second. Perhaps it would be best for them to work together. At the very least, unless they had Milim work independently, she would definitely impact their mission. From what Demon Lord Clayman had gathered, Demon Lord Carrion intended to hire new subordinates. Seems like a number of Oni served the mysterious masked monster. Carrion probably hoped to win over the masked monster, or, in worst-case scenario, try to lure away a few of its subordinates. Since Grucius would probably be moving with his objective in mind, could I please request silence? Thank you. With this objective in mind, Mulan decided to offer her support. She wouldn't be able to learn their weakness if nothing happened, that is. Let Grucius do as much as he pleased and observe the situation. So she decided. Couldn't expect much from Milim, after all. It's like throwing a boulder into a pond. If the ripples are too great, the devils will also stand out. Thus, Mulan decided her plan, now to realize it. Milim observed the city that spread beneath her. It is well made. The citizens all possess strength, strong magical energy. Oh, all seems to be high-ranking monsters. The term high-ranking monster refers to those that have developed intelligence and depends not on their strength. She understood the extent of their cooperation with a single glance. Via her dragon eye, she could measure each of their abilities. How wonderful! Though it's hard to believe, but they are all named monsters. Or, in terms that we would all recognize, rare spawns. Turn the page, thank you. Who could have named them all? She felt her amazement and astonishment overtake her. She certainly could not replicate such a troublesome feat, especially considering the chance that the energy you bestow on someone may never return to you. Demon lords like her tend to hate seeing their power disappear like that. This time she only showed up to kill some time. If she seriously made her move, not just Frey, but also Carrion and Clayman would answer with great indignation. Fending off both of them at once would be troublesome, she figured. Not intending to lose, of course. But she was truly glad that she had come. The very fact that monsters built this city themselves was amusing. The castle that Milim resides in comparison, was built by humans, who worship her as some form of deity. Her dominion's human villagers were attacked by high magic beasts, and Milim, who just happened to be walking by, killed them. The humans seemed to have misunderstood her somehow, and thus the land became hers. The other demon lords didn't complain, nor did Milim have any particular reason to complain either. This time as well, she didn't come searching for new subordinates. Rather, she came to kill some time, and to later see Clayman and Carrion's upset faces. That's the only reason for her journey. She had intended to let them have whoever once. Sorry, there's no comma there. She had intended to let them have whoever once she finished teasing them, but for it to be like this, the monsters living here were of such high quality, their abilities so great, and someone rules over them. How amusing. Her simple mind has by now completely forgotten about Clayman and Carrion. She had found her target, someone whose magic energy rivaled that of a demon lord, and thus she made her move. Next page. Come on, OVR, drop them. Scene change. After deciding to sell medium-grade medicine as the city's specialty, we continued researching towards mass production. In order to produce some, I handed over some medicine that I had made myself, and then I got an idea. Could the difference in purity be due to oxidization? That is, there is a little between production, though my skill and... what? Through my skill in normal manufacturing. The only difference is that one occurs in an oxygen-rich environment, whereas the other is inside me. Bester listened seriously to my hypothesis. It seems that this world knows of chemical elements, though included among the different types of magic, in opposition to spirit magic, it is called chemical element magic. Spirit... I apologize. I am personally not well versed in the concepts of magic, but Bester seemed to have understood my explanation. Is it affected by oxygen? He said. He said he'll consider my hypothesis. In any case, I just mentioned whatever first came to mind, so it's not my fault if this is wrong. Success is built upon many failures. A mistake can also be considered progress. Since I'm only in charge of HR, I passed on this job to him and left. Kaijin is busy discussing something with Bester. They are so friendly right now that it is hard to believe their earlier animosity. That's because their hobbies match. But this is for the best. I returned to the city using a magic circle. We set up the city's magic circles near the gates, at the vacant lot near the guardhouse, to be precise, so that in a 1 in a million chance that monsters do pass through the circle, we can quickly deal with them. Bester, however, insists that it is impossible. That is, since you need to recite an incantation to transfer, it is impossible for monsters to use it. So I'm probably just worrying too much, just using something I know nothing about, albeit hesitantly. I should learn magic soon. Next page, please. Come on, OVR drop, don't be like this. Then, the moment I had intended to head over to Rigurdo's place to let him know about our success, my magic perception noticed a large mass of magical energy flying in our direction. Dangerous! I made a split-second decision and ran beyond the gate towards it. As expected, the lump changed direction in midair and pursued me. Extremely quickly, too. Seems like we'll be meeting each other at the clearing outside the village. Good thing I didn't run into the village, spared the buildings from the unnecessary damage. Steeling myself, I observed the opponent. The distance between us shortened greatly with every passing moment. That much could be understood with eyes alone. A beautiful girl, blonde hair tied into twin tails with a black gothic dress covering her body. Her appearance was that of a lovely human girl. The air around her, however, screamed the exact opposite. The lump of magical energy, or rather, the girl, landed right in front of me, and frighteningly, she didn't cause a single ripple within her landing. Though she was flying at such terrifying speeds, she was able to erase it completely before landing. Could she perhaps have manipulated the law of inertia itself? Now, however, was not the time to consider such things. Pleased to meet you. I am Demon Lord Milim Nava. I came to greet the strongest being in this city. The beautiful Demon Lord told me. A Demon Lord? Why the hell would one of those show up now? Shouldn't your subordinates or some 4 heavenly kings try to show up before you? I somehow managed to hold back that retort. Good job, me. However, how should I respond? I am currently in my slime form, and I am not revealing any of my aura. I've gotten pretty good at magic energy manipulation recently, so I can subconsciously prevent any leaks. In other words, I should appear as some lowly slime to the ignorant eyes. Whether I check with a clone or through magic perception, I don't seem any different than a normal slime. That's how well I've hid my aura. Even then, I wonder how she saw through me. The pleasure is mine. I am the lord of the city, Rimuru. You seem to have seen through my true strength, huh? Though perhaps the strongest one around here is actually Hakuro. Though I won't say that. While observing her, I asked that question. That kind of thing is simple for me. Using this eye, the dragon eye, can see the target's magical energy even if they hide it. So no one can pretend to be weak before me. So eyes with analytical abilities? What an annoying opponent. Compared to my analysis, hers seems to be stronger. Her proficiency level is beyond question higher. This I can't win. If we fight, I might have to use all my skills and tactics just to create an opening. Her level is completely different from the pseudo-demon lord that Orc Disaster was. What amazing eyes you have. Now, what would be your purpose of your greetings? Let's hear her intentions. Knowing your opponent's goal is absolutely necessary after all. Purpose, you say? Just to greet you, though. Silence. ... She's hopeless. I had intended to eloquently convince her to go back, but stumbled at the first step. Just a greeting, she says. I'm honestly at a loss here. Ah, right, I remembered. You. How about calling yourself a demon lord and becoming one? She suddenly added. The hell was she saying? Why would I want to do such a troublesome thing? She was the one to be surprised now. I mean, a demon lord. Sounds cool, right? You long for it, right? I don't. Seems like there's a fundamental difference in our thought processes. We're just staring at each other's faces without having our opinions reach the other. Well, a slime doesn't have a face, so... Well, then let me ask, what's so good about... Sorry, wrong voice. Well, then, let me ask, what's so good about becoming a demon lord? That's... A bunch of strong people aim to fight you. It's fun, you know. Nah, I have no need for that. Not interested. Then how do you enjoy your life? In a bunch of ways. If I were to become a demon lord, are there other ways to have fun other than to fight? Not really. Then isn't it really boring? The moment I said that, Milim appeared as if she was struck by lightning, and looked as if she took serious damage. She was bored, huh? My words were so accurate that she can't say anything in response. Any further conversation would prove meaningless. I should take advantage of her shock and take my leave. Well then, since we got that out of the way, could I ask you to leave? I handled that pretty well, I thought. Oh, wait, you're doing something more fun than being a demon lord, aren't you? No fair. I'm mad. Teach me. I won't forgive you if you don't. I should be angry. I should be the angry one. Just a brat. I had wanted to exclaim, but desperately held it back. The opponent... I can't words. The opponent is a demon lord. Angering her would be bad. Rather, maybe if I treat her like a kid, handling her will be so much easier. At times like this, just have to be straight with her. Let's imagine her as a relative's kid. I got it. I'll teach you, but I've got a condition. From now on, you'll call me Rimuru-san. What? Don't screw with me. The other way around. You should be calling me Milim-sama. Silence. ... All right then. I will call you Milim, and you will call me Rimuru. How about it? All right, got it. I'll allow you to call me Milim. Be thankful, only demon lords can call me that. Ah, is that so? Then let's drop formalities from now on. Some sparks flew between us during the conversation, but we seem to have settled on dropping formalities entirely between us. Okay, I'll guide you in, then, but don't go wandering on your own, okay? Got it, Rimuru? Good. Aren't you obedient? Also, don't go rampaging in the city without my permission, okay? If you can promise me that, I'll consider you my friend. That's easy. I promise, Rimuru. So far, so good. She's easier than I thought. Just like a kid who'd listen to anyone that would give them a candy. Monsters have to keep their promises, right? Should be fine, then. Thinking that, I led Milim into the city. Scene change. Accompanied by a slime, Demon Lord Milim entered the city. Devil Grucius saw it happen using Farsight, and, bewildered by this fact, hey, is Milim getting a head start on us? After taming some lowly slime? Sorry, they changed the font in the EPUB. So it seems, but this is for the best. We could never continue in secrecy with Milim around. Right, let's just pretend we got rid of a bothersome person, they said, nodding to each other. If they moved together, they couldn't imagine a scenario where their plan wouldn't go down the drain. And now that this has happened, they can move freely. So, what will we do? How are we going to infiltrate? Yeah. While the two were busy considering this, Grucius's Farsight picked up a human squad approaching the city. You, a human squad. Are they here on monster extermination? Probably. But do they know that monsters built a city here? And looking at each other, let's mix in with them. That's a good idea. We'll disguise ourselves as humans and infiltrate the city. They decided. As two high devils, they could easily transform into a human, and after some light preparations, they mixed in with the squad moving towards the city. The monster city, Tempest. And thus the two were able to meet the human named Youm. That is the end of chapter 48. Is everybody still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Good job.
You're doing awesome.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, good job.
Amazing. Good job.
That was good.
Thank you.
I'm lagging.
Then we will
my screen.
continue.
We're so silent because we're captivated.
The book is called Regarding Being Reincarnated as a Slime, or its Japanese name, Tensei Shitara Slime, Dr. Ken. It is a light novel.
You got a VR.
So,
Does it got any pictures?
they were out in the front foyer, if you look. Yes, there are pictures for each of the volumes.
Magnanix,
Yes.
can we get other people who joined to switch avatar?
Indeed. Could everyone who has joined please change to Ybot or Xbot? It will help with everyone's frames here. We currently have far too many people with unoptimized models in the room. Indeed.
We don't want Knuckles.
If you could do that, that would be excellent. Thank you kindly. I will now continue reading.
Once you change models.
Yes. You can. Unfortunately, the little blue seats don't make much sense for X or Y bot. I might consider adding pedestals with fully optimized avatars for future readings. That way everyone can enjoy without getting lag. We will now continue the reading then. Chapter 49, Hurricane Milim. Devil Grucius and Mulan were walking in the forest disguised as humans. They expected to soon chance upon the human squad. As any wolfman, Grucius's appearance differed little from the human when not transformed. It's been 500 years since a lycanthrope king, Carian, called himself a demon lord in search of power. That was during a turbulent event when new demon lords replaced the old. Called the World War, this event would occur once every 500 years, and that's when it happened. At the same time as Carian, 3 other demon lords were born. Frey is one of those. Considered the youngest, with least experience in the war, are Demon Lord Carian, and the last to be born, Demon Lord Leon Cromwell. The 6 new Demon Lords were thus the members of the new generation. The old generation, on the other hand, has survived over 2 such wars, their strength far surpassing the rest. Therefore, most of the new generation Demon Lords strive to expand their power. Carion being one of these. It is natural for him to seek strong individuals. Grucius became a devil only 100 years ago. The lifespan of the lycanthropes is not much different than that of humans, the only difference being their longer youth, lasting from 30 to 50 years. In fact, when they start to grow old, their bodies begin to quicken and weaken, and they tend to die within 2 weeks. The king of the beast country, Eurazania Carion, possessed great power from the day he was born. He became a devil through his own power, and even evolved into a demon lord. There is also a rumor that he exterminated a single demon lord himself, but whether that is true or not is open to debate. Grucius did not possess enough power to evolve on his own. And I don't possess enough power to change page, apparently. Come on, OVR drop. Go to the next page, please. Oh, this application is horrendous. However, he did excel at stealth and combat. But thanks to his abilities, he gained a chance to evolve. Through drinking the blood of the king, the survival rate of this ceremony is only 10%. Being able to endure is in itself a mark of a hero. Grucius endured this trial, like squeezing through the eye of a needle, and thus Grucius became the same species as his king, and acquired the same abilities and long lifespan. Even now, 100 years since his rebirth, his abilities have yet to wane. Compared to Grucius, Mulan's circumstances are far more complicated. She was originally a witch, persecuted by humans. She was on the run around 300 years ago. After uncovering the secrets of evolution, she bestowed its benefits unto herself. That is, she gained eternal youth. As for why she is currently serving Demon Lord Clayman, That would be because of a deal they had made. Around 400 years ago, Clayman succeeded the previous Demon Lord. The moment he did, he began hunting down named devils and monsters to steal their hearts, making them swear loyalty to him. He inscribed a curse onto their hearts, making them his eternal servants. Mulan met the same fate. Even though she gained the power of a devil after evolving, she was far weaker than Demon Lord Clayman. And so, after being defeated, she had the curse of servitude engraved on her heart. As a result, her status did increase, but she could hardly be happy about it. And since then, she became one of Clayman's marionettes. She could understand devils like Gelmudo, who yearned for their own servants. Mulan was waiting for an opportunity to dispel the curse and strike at Clayman. Her long life, however, testified against such opportunity. The difference in their abilities was too great. So her servant life continued. She merely hoped to one day be released from the curse, and so, until present day, the goal is information gathering. I will flawlessly complete the task, she thought, thinking up a plan. She would use whatever she could, whether it be Grucius or the human squad. Anything goes, as long as it led to her release. She had no choice but to abide Clayman's wishes. Since she was originally a human, turning into one was hardly any effort. Scene change. A man and a woman walked in front of Youm's group, and they quickly joined his party. Siblings, they said, an older sister and her brother, but extraordinary no matter how you looked at them. Youm observed the two, who were happily conversing with the rest of the garrison. They were dressed in the Empire's clothing, with an appearance pleasing to the eye. While they weren't particularly suspicious, if they possessed even a bit of strength, they would certainly be able to walk through the forest. Jura Forest's monsters are not particularly strong individually. Not particularly strong individually. That is, that statement would be true if the monsters had not become active some time ago. Currently, entering the forest is truly dangerous. Traveling through the Dwarf Kingdom is far safer. They are indeed suspicious. Can't let my guard down around them, Youm reasoned to himself. There was nothing strange about their tale, and they opened themselves quickly to the rest of the garrison. At first glance, no problem, right? However, his intuition said otherwise, and in such cases he should trust his gut. That's the way of life that let Youm live till this day. Well, they do seem capable, so let's put them to use. He simply decided. Whatever their intentions were, Youm would only have to make sure he used them himself in return. There were simply too few people in the garrison, and only a few of them were particularly skillful. So welcoming the two strong individuals into their group would only benefit them. The suspicious ones are the three captured adventurers. He ordered them to lead the way to this mysterious city, and they don't show any signs of lying. Therefore, the city must truly exist. They don't seem keen on escaping, so he had them untied. The three, as well, have gotten friendly with the squad, and are boasting about their achievements. Seems like they really are adventurers. But because they came from a different country, he has never heard of them. And being only at B rank, they aren't famous enough to be known outside of their borders. They are capable veterans, nonetheless. Oh, so there's a city ahead. There's a city ahead of here, one made by monsters? Yeah. The first time we went there, they brought us yakiniku. It was delicious. At that time, we were pursued by a stampede of giant ants. My life was flashing before my eyes. But as a result, we got to meet Rimuru Dana, so I'm happy about that. Who would this Rimuru Dana be? The head of the city. The city is mostly populated by hobgoblins, and the one who rules them all is the slime Rimuru Dana. What? A slime has followers? Yeah, Rimuru is a very cute slime. Actually, guys, are you sure we can reveal all of this? Keep me out of it, okay? Considering we are bringing them there, I don't see a reason to hide it. In fact, wouldn't it be worse if they get the wrong idea and cause trouble? Yeah, don't come back again. If they say that, I'll cry. We haven't even entered the baths yet. Whether due to carelessness or some ploy, they are answering. Why do they break these over the page? They are answering. Come on. Next page. Any question that were asked. Youm could not imagine any ulterior motives, but the city was such a bizarre concept, how could it possibly exist? For a delusion, however, it was far too detailed. We've reached it, the thief-class Guido exclaimed. Youm stepped forward to confirm. Far ahead, under the shadows of trees, he could see a silhouette of a city's walls. It was true, yet that thought only increased his tension. A city made by monsters, a concept difficult to quickly accept. But there it was. Would he be greeted by snakes or demons? Youm flashed a fearless smile and proceeded towards the city. Scene change. Showing Milim around the city was far harder than I thought it would originally be. If you've ever brought a small kid to an amusement park, you would know how I feel. If you look away for a second, she's gone. That's exactly what it's like. Oi, didn't I tell you not to take off running? Over there, what's this? Listen, just listen to what I'm saying. What's wrong? I'm listening. No, you aren't. She was strangely excited, running around all over the place, when she met Gabble a moment ago. Oh, a dragon youth! Working hard? Yes, I am Dragon Youth Gabble. Who would you be, shorty? Huh? Did you say something? Would you like to try dying? Oh, sorry. Huh? Did you say something? Would you like to try dying once? She lightly kicked Gabble in the knee, and after he lost his balance and fell, she drove her fist into his stomach, letting a single Gabble was once on the brink of death. Gabble was once again on the brink of death. Hey, wait a second. Didn't she promise not to rampage? Next page, please. Listen, fool, I'm in a very good mood right now, so I'll let you off with this. Don't ever look down on me again. Seriously, who's a shorty? She said. Any more than death, huh? What a frightening girl Milim is. Or should I just call her plain scary? To Gabble's good luck, he was carrying a test product restoration pill, probably heading to Korobi for a request. But even with a medium-grade pill, his body didn't completely heal. Truly a fist that can one-shot anyone. She probably held herself back, too. Scary. But now that he's come to this, I'm pretty sure the promise not to rampage no longer applies. Gabble limped away. With a benevolent nod, Milim waved him goodbye. And as if nothing had happened, that guy is really sturdy. How about I strengthen him up a bit more? Please don't ask me that, I thought. Nope, never. It's bad to bully the weak. I see. Bullying the weak is bad. I know that. Oh, if you knew that, then from now on, I could only ask that much. That is, I don't have any way to stop her. With her explosive temper, I can only pray that Gabble would be the only victim. And like this, I continued to show her around. She observed the making of armor and requested a set. She observed the sewing of clothing and became the Goblina's dress-up doll. She observed the farming and helped plow the fields. I've never seen someone plow a field that quickly. And thus the day passed. By the time the night came, everyone in the city had heard of the small despot. Assembling the leaders in the dining hall, she introduced herself. I'm Milim. Milim Nava. It's a pleasure. That's what she said. Hold on. Huh? Isn't Milim the name of a demon lord? Having spent the day practicing with Benimaru, Soe and Hakuro, Shion, and all of the Oni muttered that question. What the hell are you saying? There's no way a demon lord could be here. Oh, fucking hell. I wish they'd tell me who was speaking first. I keep breaking the voices. What the hell are you saying? There's no way a demon lord could be here. Benimaru laughed, rejecting her question. This is bad. At this rate, we'll have another Gabble-style tragedy. I wanted to salvage the situation, but... What kind of relationship do you have with Rimuru-sama? Have you become friends? Soe asked. Milim, who seemed about to explode a moment ago, now fidgeted bashfully, with her face bright red. Well, rather than friends, we're close friends. Is that how it was? Forgive my rudeness. I am Soe. I am Rimuru-sama's faithful servant. Please take care of me. As expected of Soe, good looks and an eloquent tongue to match. Actually, Milim-kun, since when did we become close friends? Since when were we close friends? I asked timidly. We aren't? A tear began to form in her eyes. Faster than the tear, however, energy began gathering in her fist. Just kidding. We're really close friends. Best friends forever. I quickly added, evading danger. Almost hit a landmine myself. Not letting a Gabble happen again. Definitely not. I see. You're good at surprising people. She grinned broadly. I simply follow. Sorry, a simple fellow. Simple, but hard to deal with. Carelessness is forbidden from now on, I thought, reaching a new step of enlightenment. Benimaru still hasn't realized the situation. I need to warn him later. Unlike Soe, he doesn't understand a woman's heart at all. He's even worse at it than I am. If he wasn't a handsome guy, he would surely be hated by the page-turning function. Hated by everyone. Stupid people always end up suffering. The problem is, he won't survive suffering caused by Milim. The conversation ended thus as food was brought out. Milim happily began eating. I, too, changed into my human form and removed the mask. When Milim saw that, "Ah, so you're the one who killed Gelmudo, I see," she said, with a huge smile on her face. The other people present reacted differently. They looked at me, pressing for an explanation. I won't be able to fool them, it seems. When dinner ended, Milim looked ready to fall asleep. So I had Shuna escort her to a guest house. I wonder if she'll be complaining about the bed and such, saying something like, "Not a bed, I want a tummy mat with a futon." Well, can't give her what we don't have. I'll just leave it to Shuna. Then I explained today's events to everyone. I see. That was truly a powerful hit I took. I saw my father beckoning. Who's speaking? I see. That was truly a powerful hit I took. I saw my father beckoning to me from heaven. What? Seems like you're still out of it. Your father is still alive. Ah, right. How rude of me. Gabo's response aside, everyone else was surprised. Well, duh. A demon lord had showed up. But, just as a note, I had her promise not to rampage, so we should be fine, right? When I asked, actually, it's not like all monsters can't break promises, you know. While the Dwarf King did say a part of the truth, it isn't the whole of it, Kaijin replied. Akuro and the other Noni nodded to this. Rimuru-sana, for example. I have no problem telling lies. Me too. Actually, I'm pretty good at it. Soe and Benimaru added. That means... In other words, according to their explanation, only monsters of spontaneous birth have trouble lying. Those born of parents are not as restricted. Besides, what the Dwarf King was referring to was a case of pledge magic on top of swearing upon your very existence, so a magical contract. I shouldn't have ignored to inquire about it from the great sage. While the demons are truly restricted, the normal monsters aren't so, which is why Milim can go lie all she wants. That is what it would mean, Hakuro nodded. In that case, what should we do? However, she doesn't seem to intend to cause trouble, and even if she did, we couldn't stop her, could we? I agreed with that analysis. Even with all of us working together, we'd fail. Right. Let's let her do what she wants, and if worse comes to worse, we'll have Rimuru stop her. They are close friends after all. No objections! All of them shouted. What? Benimaru, you bastard. By the time I thought that, it was already too late. My usual leave it to others policy seems to have come back to haunt me. Can't be helped, I thought and let out a sigh. And thus, everyone came to believe that I was in charge of supervising Demon Lord Milim. So ended the first day of Hurricane Milim. Yay, that chapter is finished. Let me quickly check. Going to take a quick drink of water and accept all of these friend requests I'm getting.
Yeah, please.
Remember to hydrate,
I don't know
folks.
how you do it, my friend.
I've been drinking water like every 5 minutes because I'm feeling really nauseous.
That's not good.
Oi!
Probably just
you feel better?
Thank you. I'm working up my tolerance for VR because I've never done it before. It's hard.
Hey, Ari. You're here to pet me?
Hey, Meg.
Is that what you're doing? You're hugging me? Oh,
I will request new people that have entered the room, please change to the Y-bot or X-bot avatars so that people do not lag. Yes, someone requested my attention.
Yes, I'll stay for one more chapter and then I have to sleep. I'm getting tired. My apologies.
No worries. I hope that it's not me that's putting you to sleep.
No, actually, your voice is very relaxing, and maybe that's one of the reasons, but it's good. Keep going.
Come with me.
I would. My menu seems to be lagging a little. I apologize, everyone. I hope I got you all. I actually grabbed that bot.
Here, I'll throw my name in there, too.
But what is it?
Two popular people.
All right, sorry for that.
Yes.
More.
Okay, chapter 15.
I don't want the
Frontier Garrison. The morning of the following day started with great tribulations. First thing in the morning, I woke Milim up. Her expression grumpy. Would you please mute whoever is doing it?
Alright.
What is the name of the person that is currently hotlifing?
Looney.
Looney.
Get him out of here.
I blocked him.
Get him out of here.
There we go. I've muted his microphone. Hopefully it should have stopped everyone. Excellent. Oh. First thing in the morning, I woke up Milim. Her expression grumpy. I had her changed to look presentable. The new clothing she wore was the one she had requested from yesterday, and it came out pretty well. The gothic dress was probably difficult to move in, hence the reason for her request. Why does a demon lord need to wake up so Why does demon lord need to wake up so early in the morning? She was grumbling haughtily, but her mood improved by breakfast. Children really are simple. While she was eating, I was busy thinking. I don't particularly mind becoming her supervisor, but I want to go to a human city, so should I bring her along? I kind of have a bad feeling about doing that. No, let me rephrase. It's bound to lead to a disaster. To bring such a dangerous child to a place she's never been before. Well, it's not that I can't, it's that I won't. But even so, leaving her here is bad for my heart. While Milim is visiting, I should probably abstain from leaving for the human cities. After we finished breakfast, I took Milim to the smithy. I took on my human form and wore a mask, since as a slime I wouldn't be able to try out any of the weapons. And once we reached it, I greeted Kurobi. Is the thing I asked for yesterday ready? Oh, this one, right? It should be good for Milim-sama's personal use, he said, showing me the finished product. Yesterday, he had measured the size of Milim's hands after being asked to make her something. It's dragon knuckles. The point of such gloves would be to prevent injury when punching barehanded, and to increase the force of the blow. Normally. That's not why we gave her these gloves, though. No, our goal was the exact opposite. The light but dense... Always going to have troubles changing pages with this app. Okay. The light but dense demon steel is actually surrounded by a shock-absorbing material. Right. When she equips this, her blow will be reduced to only 10% of its normal. And we use demon steel in hopes of attaching a regenerative effect to them. The best part of it all will be the decrease in her destructive power. Milim, try this on. I passed the dragon knuckles to Milim, who, clearly excited, happily accepts them. She quickly puts them on. She lightly throws some punches in the air. Oh, this is great. My hands feel really light. All right, seems to be working. For her hands to feel light, I guess her power should have decreased a bit. And for myself, I took a newly developed sword. The last one I had broke. So I had them repair it. I had tried copying it myself, but even if it looked identical, its performance was clearly different. Seems copying an item is impossible when the creator's skills are too high. Even if it looks the same, even if my appraising abilities claims they are the same, they are nonetheless small. There are nonetheless small differences. I draw the sword to check. Amazing. Kurobi's ability is truly something. I wish I could finally get a sword specialized for my use. Seems like they still need to work on that. I'm not getting impatient, but I am looking forward to it. Nodding, I put the sword back into the scabbard. The moment Milim and I acquired our weapons, Rigurdo came running over. How well he runs. Rimuru-sama, this is where you were. An unknown group has come. From what he told me, we have an armed squad near the city. Among them are 3 adventurers. Somehow, the 3 idiots managed bringing an armed group over. Why are so many problems occurring now? Those idiots. So, I turned the page. Come. So I thought, but, well, let's go meet them, I said, and headed to the place where Rigurdo left them. And, as if it was the most natural thing in the world, Milim followed. When I arrived, I saw Rigur and the guards surrounding and also armed men. They're all dressed similarly. However, their equipment seems rather poor, and their ability likewise. Our equipment is worlds superior. Nonetheless, among them are a man and a woman with clearly superior gear. And not just their equipment, their skills also seem pretty high. And of course, the 3 idiots. When they saw me, "Oh, Rimuru's Dana, it's been a while." "Howdy, we came to hang out." "It's been ages. Things happened, so there's more of us." They greeted me. Things happened, huh? Seems like they are the cause of this incident. Yo, so who might these people be? About that. They explained the details. During his introduction, the man named Yomu kept looking at us while on guard. So poorly written. When the idiots finished, "Pleased to make your acquaintance. Farmer's Kingdom, Counter Domain, Frontier Garrison, Captain Yomu's the name." Wrong voice. We heard the monsters built a city here, so we came to check it out. I heard the chief of the city is a slime. Could I meet it? He greeted us, and thus, please pardon the belated introduction. I am the head of this city, and its representative. I am known as Rimuru Tempest, though I currently appear thus. I am, in fact, a slime. I responded. Is that how it was? Pardon my rudeness. Cabal had mentioned that Rimuru is the name of the head, but I was misled by you being called a slime, you see. Your human transformation is simply marvelous. Whether flattery or not, I don't know, but he seems intent on praising me. I wonder if monsters capable of human transformation are rare. Not that it matters right now. Be that as it may, are monsters capable of transforming into humans rare? Fucking hell, this is going to be horrid, and I apologize. Be that as it may, are monsters capable of transforming into humans rare? Actually, forget that question. What will be your business here today? About that. Our goal was to confirm the report. There has never been a case of monsters building a city before, you see. Moreover, should that report prove true, there's a possibility that you will pose a threat to our country. Thus, considering that the city is truly existing, we must confirm whether or not you could pose a threat to us. Could we possibly impose upon your presence? I see. However, if we were intending on becoming your enemies, and were such a terrifying city, how could we let you stay here? Upon hearing my retort, the man named Youm scratched his head. Damn it. I'll just have to tell you the truth. Frankly, I didn't believe there was a city of monsters here. Now I know I was wrong. And, according to these three adventurers, you've got really good living conditions around here. Please allow our stay and the stationing of our troops here, please, he said in one breath. And to the three idiots, I apologize for doubting you. He deeply bowed his head in an apology. I had planned to observe him for a while, but maybe it's all right to consider him an honest guy. Didn't we tell you? Well, as long as you understand, it doesn't do to always suspect people. For some reason, Ellen proudly responded. The other two were expressing their approval of her words, or happiness at finally arriving. Well, he doesn't seem like a bad guy, but approving their presence is a different matter. Regarding stationing your troops here, for what purpose? Youm faced me and began explaining their situation. The unit was established by the Farmers' Kingdom's Count to protect the villages against monsters. They are composed of 30 members in 3 divisions. From where we stood, they could easily access the highway and nearby villages. Moreover, if we lay roads to the highway, we'd be saving time and establishing a trade route. Of course, we will offer our labor towards that end. He ended with a proposal. Even if it's possible to get here on horseback, the same is not true for carriages. We hadn't cleared any trees in the direction of the highway. We didn't want to stand out at that time, but that was before the earlier orc incident. Now that the forest has begun to calm down, we should think about opening a trade route. So perhaps it might be a good idea to accept his proposal. Since it's bad taste to continue such discussions on our feet, I guided everyone to the cafeteria. Though our menu selection is still limited, it is nonetheless delicious. Since we unfortunately are low on salt, pepper, and other seasonings, we can't offer any subtle spices. Or so I'd say, if not for Shuna's godly cooking skills. That is, hers and that of her apprentice chefs, the Gobliners. The number of the Gobliners had been steadily increasing. The security and order of the city is maintained by men, while women take care of the household matters and cooking. Since they have their individual talents, they spread themselves among cooking, cleaning, education, sewing, assistance, and other professions. Their efficiency can be primarily attributed to Rigurdo's skill at governing. After switching to the cafeteria, we continued our discussion. Amusingly, Milim sat next to me. It's kind of cute how carefully she handles her dragon knuckles. By the way, Rimuru, whose daughter would she be? Cabal went and asked. Milim reacted to being called a daughter, but exercised self-restraint. Good word choice, Cabal. Can't forget that this cafeteria has the bomb named Milim in it. Oh no! Have I crashed? No, I haven't. Good. Oh, a guest. A really important person, so treat her with the utmost respect, okay? I warned them ahead of time. If they ignored my warning, they'll have only themselves to blame. Not my problem, then. I'm Milim. Pleased to meet you. Though Milim so simply introduced herself, let's not forget she is a cruel demon lord. She is so adorable, however, that she certainly deceived them all. But a man and a woman, whose equipment was much better than the rest, had a worried expression on their faces. Oh, I have actually crashed, haven't I? I have.
No.
Can everyone hear me?
No.
I hear
You're
you.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yeah, we got
My
you.
display is
Oi.
crashed. I'll read the second page that is still loaded, but I'm going to have to restart my VR. I apologize for the delays.
You're good. No problem.
Actually, rather than...
No worries, my man.
Oh, actually, I can probably still go, because OVR is still working, but VRChat is crashed. I'll get someone to send me a Discord message if I do finish crashing. Actually, rather than expression, it's the air around them. It changed slightly. They looked at Milim with complete disbelief. Did they find her out? No, there's no way that would be true. So I thought until I looked closer at the two. Huh? Why are two devils disguising themselves as humans? Huh. Yes, the two of them are devils. A simple human transformation could not fool my magic perceptions. From what Youm said, they joined them halfway. Ha ha ha! Infiltration.
Does he crash? Oh.
Nani?
I think he crashed.
Oh my god.
Nani?
Just have to pay respects, guys. Oh no.
Well, looks like someone wants to send him a message.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the
This is a travesty!
Oh my god, that was some base.
Jesus.
I love that
Oh my
god.
I almost fell asleep.
Please wait while a customer representative will be here shortly to fix the issue.
I became one with the chair.
39.
I actually fucking fell asleep for like 5 minutes there, I'm not gonna lie.
Leroy says they are better at
His voice was magical.
Looney.
Hey,
That
dude.
was so bad for you, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's so fucking
What
rude.
happened to your mic?
That's what it would sound like.
I was fucking, because I fell asleep and I woke up and I accidentally fucking hit my fucking unmute button, so I started freaking out.
Thank you for the animation.
I guess he made alterations.
Yeah, I didn't know. I realized that I was just like, oh shit.
The chair to be for the
Look at Kira's face.
We're a bunch of
Good night.
ugly
Yes, I can clearly see that, dude.
Who's Kira?
Caller, you made it. Hey, what's up, caller?
Rem,
We'll be back, guys. We'll be
how many
back.
polys is that model?
Yo, Vince.
Think of his voice. Is it good?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna explore one more new world before I go.
Okay, sir.
Have a good one, dude.
Good night, Darius.
Bye, guys.
No, there. The other chair, here.
Take it easy, buddy.
You like my chair?
Oh, fuck.
Oh no.
I don't know if I want to just fucking go to sleep now or for fucking...
Make it for you?
Yeah, I asked him for this chair specifically. I like this seat.
Oh, awesome.
I'm gonna get back in the seat.
This model is under the poly count, so I can be fine. The blue avatar.
There's so many people talking, I can't hear you. I'm like fucking half awake right now.
Night. Close face is going to sleep.
Oh, you getting off close? Good night.
Good night, people that are leaving. Have a good night, guys.
That's why I was like, why there's so many blue and red guys?
Yeah.
You know, I thought you said you weren't gonna stay up all night.
Magnanix had most people switch to the blue avatar and the pink avatar because people were lagging and their avatars were not optimized.
I'm staying up.
Oh, okay.
I can choke down a bunch of Red Bulls. Alright.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I used to fucking do that shit
Yeah.
all the time.
Oh, there he is.
Look at his
Oh, fuck, man. I wasn't expecting to fucking fall asleep like that.
Logo. Pretty good, Miji.
Everyone was getting angry.
39, why do you always gotta hurt people?
Why is she always trying to hurt me?
Come on, 39.
Are those hearts? Are those tiny hearts in that other expression?
Alright, you guys wanna get out of here though? I'm fucking lagging like crazy. They're not crazy, but...
Oh yeah, they are tiny hearts. Oh, that's adorable. Is that, that's Ahego face, which is also pretty good.
Okay.
I can appreciate that.
At least we can stay here for a while.
There you go. There's 76 people in here. During story time, there's
Oh,
8.
okay.
Oh, he returns.
Oh, that's a... oh, that's really good, Miji.
Next time you see Darius, ask him to hold your hand.
Just this eyebrowless stare.
Welcome back, Magnanix.
Gets me, man.
We all wanted you to hold
Welcome back.
Darius's hand, but
Yeah, you see that? You see
Yeah,
that? You see that?
You guys had a moment right there. We all waited.
Hi, Colin.
Yep.
Is he
This is
muted?
supposed to be the Star Guardian,
can't-
Ari.
Sleepy.
I saw that.
Hey, give him
Huh?
time.
Who's this?
Give him
What's
time.
up?
Yo. Meg's saying he
Oh.
doesn't want to wait. Give him time.
How long were you up, Kimple?
We cannot hear you, by the way.
Give him time. Give him time, guys. Come on, patience.
Are you getting off, Kimple?
The frame rate is too bad.
Well, it's a lot better than what it was originally.
It's just the pure amount of people in here.
Yeah, Kimball, I think some people are leaving.
And he's gone.
I think he crashed again.
Oh, Mag is gone. He'll be back.
Oh no.
Hi, Wizzo. Oh, that's gone again.
He's giving a quick restart, boys. Have a couple of microphone issues. We're gonna need you guys to take your seats and calm down. Stop panicking.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go make coffee while I wait for him to come back, I guess.
Sounds good.
I can try to fix my sleep schedule somewhat.
Yeah.
That's funny. Sleep schedule.
Where's Coma? He's missing.
He needs a sleep schedule.
What, an hour in?
Where who? Cholera? We need him, dude.
Coma.
Someone needs to go up there and start rapping.
Coma? Oh, I don't know.
Let's see.
Widow. Hello.
You.
OMG feature.
The best thing about the microphone is like I can mute it without having to include my keyboard.
Hey, somebody's gonna take your chair, bro.
At the toggle.
Oh shit, you gotta get this.
I love your wristbands.
Frame rate is getting worse.
Wait, frame rate's getting worse?
If you're gonna stare at me, please use a different model. The fact that there's no eyebrows on that
That's so
thing
amazing,
spooks the
dude.
shit out of me. Thank you. Good God.
You should just get OVR advanced settings.
Where you have the leg trackers and the waist, right?
Yeah. That's well.
Yeah.
But you will still be able to raise your play area.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just saying.
I'm honestly jealous of those
I
wristbands.
see.
I'm still finishing it off.
They are
Yeah, I got
Oh, he's back.
Everything keeps breaking on me. Ah!
It's alright.
He returns!
All right.
Hey, he's back?
Slow movement.
For some reason, my microphone ceased working.
Oh. Welcome back.
Appears
Meg.
to be working
Welcome
once more. Thank you for the welcomes. Oh dear.
Alright, guys, back to your seats. Thank you very much.
Stopping OVR drop.
So it's like a battery issue, or?
No, I'm not even sure. I just had to completely close down Steam VR and restart for it to all work again. I think something, well, orked my system.
It's probably a bug.
Just turn this fan away so you can't all hear my air conditioning.
Come on, Bright, come sit next to me.
All right. I will move back for a few sentences. A simple human transformation could not fool my magic perception. From what Youm said, they joined them halfway. Ha ha ha. Infiltration, is that it? Hey, 2 devils have infiltrated the city. Be on your guard. I announced using thought transmission. Well, it's fine as long as they don't do anything funny. Rimuru-sama. Sama. Considering that they showed up at the same time as Demon Lord Milim, could they be connected somehow? I am of the same opinion, Rimuru-sama. A ploy to make us lower our guard. Nope. I wouldn't do something that annoying. Milim made her way into my thought transmission network. She broke in. Oh, come on. Why is nothing working? She seems to have figured out our frequency and forced her way in. What an absurd thing to do. Even if I make it sound so simple, make no mistake. It requires an absurdly high level of skill. Hey, you. Did you just break into our network? That kind of thing is easy for me. But let bygones be bygones. These two have no relation to me. But you know them. I don't. Silence. ... Well, whatever. Just stay on your guard, everyone. Though they aren't related, they are acquainted, it seems. No need to force her to say it if she doesn't want to. It's enough to know what we need to stay vigilant against. While I was conversing thus, everyone was busy with self-introductions, and that seems to have ended a second ago. Now that everyone has introduced themselves, let's get to the heart of the matter. The main question was whether to allow them to establish a base here, but before that, they need to clarify something. I should be considering this a personal request from Youm-san, shouldn't I? Yes, that would be accurate. In fact, the country will not know of this. Why? Though there's a bunch of reasons, frankly, I hate the feudal lord. Our employer, Count Nicole Maedan, is not a decent man. The kind of guy who prioritizes personal benefit over that of the people. He's greedy and rough with his men. Though he levies a heavy tax on the people in return for protection, the garrison sees none of it. The worst kind of man. Well, as someone who badmouths his employer, I am no decent man either. In any case, as a result, we are severely understaffed. If we set up base here, we could easily access the surrounding villages. But if we report this, he's bound to meddle with your city. The clothing you produce is your specialty, right? It's worlds better than what his city produces, you know. Well, this is considered a neutral zone, so I can't imagine him moving independently. But I see. A greedy feudal lord. A common setting. Yes, I wouldn't want to have to deal with such a gloomy character. But considering how frankly Yomu explains all this, he must be serious. He seriously wants to set up a base here, to earn my trust. He's speaking only the truth. Our conversation continued. After Rigurdo and the Oni voiced their opinions, we passed our decision. We decided to let them use a single empty house. Of course, should they cause problems, we will immediately evict them. Moreover, we'll be collecting money for their meals. That we decided to include after hearing Kaijin's opinion. A single night for a single person costs 3 silver coins. The average rate at a city for a sunny room is between 5 to 8 coins. A single room at an inn could be as low as 3 coins. That includes a single simple meal. Staying without a meal will cost between 1 to 2 coins. The imperial capital would easily be 5 times as expensive. By the way, 100 silver coins is equal to a single gold coin. I still have that 20 gold pieces I got from Kaido. By our standards, a single silver coin equals 1,000 yen, and a single gold coin is 100,000 yen. Haha. Though monetary value also depends on item costs and such, well, in any case, Kaido seems to have spent a lot, and that's only to be expected, considering the value of the medicine. However, well, it would be enough to kickstart our economy. 3 coins is too high. Please lower it slightly. Yomu began negotiating the cost. Listen up. The room includes 3 meals a day and a bath. If you have a problem, we'll lend you a storage house instead. How about it? There, we'll charge a single silver coin, but no meals. Wrong voice. That was meant to be the dwarf. Yomu pondered Kaijin's words, but gave up in the end. He probably remembered the meal he just ate, and thus we lent out lodging to the Farmers' Kingdom's Count's domain to the garrison men, led by Yomu. We also let them use the first floor of the guardhouse as their office. Yomu's group brought in their equipment. Seems like they use a magic communicator type of thing that allows them to contact individual units. However, unfortunately, they can only speak for 3 minutes every hour. The magic cost is simply so high that they can't supply enough. Thus, it's mostly used to rely. Oh my god, this is so poorly written. Thus, it is mostly used to relay unit orders or for emergency situations. An expensive piece of equipment, they seem to only have 6 of those. That's also due to how cheap their employer is. Including the two newcomers, the human squad is composed of 32 people. From where they are located, well, here, as of now, they can reach every village within a day. They've gotten much more efficient as a result, it seems. They've also gotten used to the life here. After Youm contacted them via the magic communicator, they all assembled here. A merry bunch they are. "Please take care of us from now on," they all shouted. "Our pleasure. However, should you cause any trouble, I can't guarantee your lives, so be careful, okay?" I threw in a little threat here. Though we're clearly monsters, they were on guard only for the first few minutes, but let's not allow them to let their guard down so much that they cause a ruckus here. Though they seem like a bunch of good guys, so maybe I'm worrying too much. As planned, I then introduced Youm to Rigger. After we explained how far our defense network spans, the frontier garrison decided to fill in the holes between us and the villages. Since there's a lot of room to spare, a single unit can work on building and a road. But building a road, and the 3 High Orc Construction Division will be sent to help them with that. Thus, albeit very unexpectedly, Youmu's group became familiar with our city. I apologize, it takes me a little while to get back in the swing of things after having to do all of that. That's the end of that chapter. We'll continue to chapter 51. Chapter 51, To a Human City. 2 weeks have passed since we let Youmu's group in. The highway plan is continuing smoothly. Contrary to what you would think, the Frontier Garrison members are rather hard-working. They've also gotten very friendly with the Hobgoblin Guardians. The city's monsters are dutifully upholding the rules, and are unexpectedly friendly towards the humans. I was expecting the Guardians and the Garrison to look down on each other due to the monster-human animosity and all, but I guess I was wrong. Probably, since they used to be ruffians and hooligans, they are trying to change. As for Youm, he might be the kind of person who attracts people, yes. He has an aura of charisma about him, so even dividing up the responsibilities he was handed was quite smooth, whether or not his desire to cooperate with us affected his efficiency or not. We have goblin riders on guard and lookout duty around the city, but there's simply too many of them. Therefore, we decided to have 10 riders support the Frontier Garrison when they answered distress calls. For the humans, that assistance was something they wouldn't even dare to ask for, so they happily accepted. However, they insisted to return the favor, so they decided to teach us formation tactics, sword skills, and other professions they knew. Among those was a rather popular survival skill that were bound to increase our food variety. This is translated from Japanese to English, so there's bound to be grammatical errors like that. While it wouldn't lead to abundance, it is something we can be grateful for. Thus, our relationship kept improving. And once we more or less came to trust each other, the garrison had a proposal. No, a favor to ask. They asked whether we could maintain their equipment. It seems the fact that our equipment is far superior to theirs has been bothering them. "In the first place, it's plain cheating for monsters to use high-level equipment," one of their members said, speaking on behalf of the entire group. Frankly, I agree. Since getting the dwarf's technological assistance, we've been able to create equipment far above what would be considered ideal. "Well, hey, dwarf armor is the best in the world after all," Kaijin merrily replied. No, that being so, why is even Master Calm in this city? That I find strange." Cabal also expressed disbelief. The elite among the dwarves, Calm. Kaijin is also a master of his craft, and we also have the expert Kurobi. Our city's smithy would easily match that of any capital city. Moreover, we have Gabble bringing raw materials from the cave once in a while, so we have an abundance of high-ranking ingredients. If people learned of this, there would be bound to be plenty of buyers. However, we don't plan to sell any. There are still hobgoblins without a complete set of equipment after all. Our numbers are so large that we are having a hard time meeting the demand. Even with Kurobi's copy skill, the one he got from Researcher, it takes a while to finish an item, since it's not accelerated by Great Sage, like mine. It's certainly faster than making the item by hand, but he's still just a single person. Thus, he's been employing artisan wannabes from among the young men and women to become his disciples, and has been producing all items at the factories for them to see. Perhaps one of these young ones may become a true artisan someday. So, considering the possibility of future experts, Kurobi's current actions are for the best in the long term. "Whatever, it's fine, your request. Ask me to look at your equipment anytime I'm free." I don't know who said that. It was a dwarf again. Kaijin lightly accepted. He's probably planning on using them to have his students practice. He might look like a big softy, but he's actually an extremely prudent old man. Oh, as expected of Kaijin-san. Look at him talk. Oi, oi, are you sure? In any case, look at mine too. He was surrounded in other similar joyous shouts. I guess I should feel relieved at his kindness. Then there's sounds of falling. That was the sound that accompanied our fall. By our fall, I mean mine. Benimaru's, Soe's, and Shion's. You suck, you suck, you suck! Our opponent exclaimed while laughing loudly. Who? The Demon Lord Milim, of course. We had a mock battle with her, 4 versus 1, but that didn't go over well. And she's even using her dragon knuckles. She always wears them now. Once at mealtime, I made her take them off, causing her to sulk the rest of the day. I shouldn't have. No, that was clearly a breach of etiquette. I'm glad I had her wear them this time. She should always wear them during practice, but that doesn't apply to mealtime. As if receiving a lesson, I spar daily with Milim, but she's so strong, to the point that it's funny. The dueling her is out of the question. So, we decided on this 4 versus 1. Ridiculous power, a cheat-like ability, bottomless stamina. I'm glad we're not enemies. We also had Hakuro spar with her once. Unfortunately, not even his attacks could reach her. However, he can put up a fight, which is impressive in itself. The overwhelming power I felt from the Dwarf King, and the overwhelming power from Milim. The difference between them is far too great. That much. I understood after being beaten down in succession here. Had I, during the match with the Dwarf King, used Great Sage battle mode, there's a chance I could have won. But that kind of thing is meaningless before Milim. It's not a match of skill or tricks. There's various kinds of strength, huh? Thus, thrice a day, as a result, we've all gotten much stronger compared to 2 weeks ago. Hakuro observes the matches. He's perfected his skills, so he won't benefit much from these. As for us, our skills were so lacking that we managed to improve greatly these past 2 weeks. You've gotten pretty good. If Rimuru decided to become a demon lord now, I would totally be for it, Milim happily exclaimed. I am not planning to become a demon lord, though. Besides, we didn't even last 20 minutes today. Complete fails. Even if I called myself a demon lord, I wouldn't live long enough to see it recorded. Benimaru, Soe, and Shion returned to practice after getting instructions from Hakuro. What a lively bunch they are. While watching them spar, by the way, Milim, why did you become a demon lord? I suddenly got curious and asked. Yeah, about that. What was the reason again? There was a bunch of sad things and messed up things, right? Why are you asking me? No reason. Can't remember it well. It's been too long ago. I forgot. Milim looked as if she didn't want to remember the grief and horror. I see. Well, if you forgot, there's no need to remember. Though she looks like a child, she is an ancient demon lord. From what I heard, the youngest of the demon lords is at least 200 years old. That would be my enemy, Leon Cromwell, my prey. There are other young demon lords. They are around 5... Come on. I apologize. I need a better application for readings. They are around 500 years old and have experienced the Great War. Milim belongs to the old generation. In other words, she's been living for an insane amount of time. Chances are she doesn't have many friends. She's been living for so long that she must have lost many good friends by now. Hey, do you have family or someone who worries about you? Is it okay to stay here without letting anyone know? Suddenly growing worried, I asked her. When I did, I forgot. Right, I'll be right back. Though this might take a while, but I'll be gone for 2 to 3 years at the longest. I'll be back. She suddenly exclaimed. What? So suddenly? Hey, right now? Yeah. Well, it's not like we won't meet again, so I'm off, she said, and immediately changed into her gothic dress. That's what the dress change magic. What? Okay. That's with the dress change magic, a very useful skill. I would have asked her to teach me, but I can do that naturally myself, so there's no need. It's usually... It's usually recommended to people with lots of equipment, though you have to learn spatial magic before this one, and it is far harder to learn. After she finished changing, she looked at me with a smile. Well, be right back. She flew off rather after... I apologize, I'm screwing up every second word now. She flew off after saying just a few words, and without making a sound, she flew away at the speeds faster than the speed of sound. She left as certainly as she had arrived. Was that Milim-sama gone off somewhere? Shion asked. Yeah, she had remembered some unfinished business. She'll be back in 2 to 3 years at the latest, she said. 2 to 3 years? How easily she went on such an arduous journey, and for such a long time, no? But for someone with her lifespan, surely it's but 2 to 3 days. Ah, I guess it is. Maybe she's gone off to show off her clothing and dragon knuckles to her friends. She unmuttered that last line, much to the approval of the others. That just might be the case. If she went showing off her gifts to her friends around the world, she might just need 2 to 3 years for that. Though our imagination was probably just running wild, imagining such a scene, we somehow became convinced that she is in fact out boasting to her friends. Solemn expressions don't suit Milim. And now that she's gone, I'm feeling kind of lonely. We've gotten that close during these 2 measly weeks. What a strange demon lord she is. But there's no time to feel sorry for ourselves. Her departure is also a chance. We must go to a human village right now. After checking it out, if there are no problems, I'll take Milim there next time. Previewing content is important before a public release, after all. The 3 idiots were planning to stay for 2 weeks, secretly gathering monster body parts. They are using it to fulfill a subjugation request, aren't they? But are they allowed to cheat like that? Well, it's not really my problem, but I'll have them buy my silence by guiding me to a human city. And so, you're showing the way, I said in response to their troubled expressions. We understand, Dunham. We shall lead the way. Should we also stop by the royal capital on the way? I know how to get around the back alleys, you know. They accepted. I'll leave it to them. I decided to leave in 2 days. When I had gone to notify Rigurdo of the fact, I found out that he had already prepared the bags for our departure. How diligent. And after using the magic circle to get to the cave, I had Gabble show me our medium-grade medicine stash.
Oh, Rimuru-sama, we have been waiting.
My, Rimuru-dono, I am ecstatic that you let me work in such a wonderful environment. That's the dwarf in the cave. Ah, come on. Next page, please. Oh, this is a challenge. While on our way, we ran into Besta's laboratory. Unlike Kaijin, who has to supervise lots of people, Besta can devote himself wholeheartedly to research, so this must feel like heaven to him. You are eating properly, right? Not forgetting to sleep? I asked, worried.
Of course. While the meals are not very diverse, they are very delicious, so I never miss a meal. As for sleep, I'm frugal with it, but I had a bed prepared here. Besides, it's good for your body not to sleep for a while.
No, it's not, I thought, but he's doing what he really likes, so I decided to leave him with a don't overdo it line.
Oh, by the way, between Kurobi copying them and being produced here, which is more efficient?
God damn it. I asked.
We are getting faster here. Once we get more workers and proper equipment, we'll be able to continue production without relying on Kurobi
Dono, is what he said. Since it takes some time to grow Hippocrates, we don't need production speed to increase too much. In that case, should I have 5 people or so come as lab members?
I need to teach them the basics too, so I'd like about 10. Since I want to be rearing successors as well, you see.
Currently, production speed is 3 hours to dilute 1 pill. Kurobi can manage the same in a single hour. I can make 1 immediately, but I refrain from doing so. They need to be able to make it without my involvement. Thus, they'll be able to manage without me in emergency situations. However, they do currently focus on diluting my restorative pills to create 20 medium-grade pills. Doing so using membrane creation is Besta's job. Along with that would be very difficult. This sentence doesn't make sense. Not alone. Alone, that would be very difficult, so he has Gabble's men help him. After evolving into dragon newts, they learned to use some simple magic, it seems. If 3 people other than Besta learn to use it, the speed... it's probably absolutely horrible to listen to. I apologize. The speed triples, working on a single pill every hour, in other words. They'll be able to create 20 medium-grade ones. So, in a single 8-hour working day, they'll add 160 pills to our stock. An excellent production line we've made here. If they fail at growing more, they'll be stuck with other choices and chores, while Besta will continue his research, while he makes a... What? God damn it. Which makes sense. Approving of their plans, I left to regard... Oh... It looks like someone's used machine translation here. Approving of their plans, I left to let Rigurdo know. Until now, Besta has been working without sleep, producing more than 80 pieces a day. probably preparing the city for the future. Taking 500 pieces from our stash, I deposited them into my stomach. These I plan to sell in human cities and purchase some magic stones. We'll figure out the price with Kaijin later. Well then, continue as you have. As for Besterdono, please do not overexert yourself.
Please leave it to me. I'll work myself to the bone for you.
I'll leave the matter about 10 people to you. They saw me off. Afterwards, I went to see Kaijin to decide the lowest price we'd sell these at. Low-quality medicine is called potions here, and sells for about 3 silver coins apiece, which is actually pretty high. It's not hard to imagine one's earnings for the day being spent on medicine. However, this medicine can treat 20% of most injuries, and even grave ones. In comparison, restorative magic such as heal will only restore 10% of injuries, and is hard to use in emergency situations, so our medicine is twice as effective. High-grade medicine can restore 50% of health, but I digress. What should we set the price at?
Listen, Danna. Don't set the price twice as high. Sell no lower than 15 silver coins apiece. This isn't something a beginner would buy. It's meant for B rank and above adventurers. It's all right to raise the price even more. Aim to sell at about 20 silvers,
Kaijin fervently explained. As he says, this medicine is very useful, so we'd be in trouble if we set the price too low and get too large of an order. If we don't make a profit, we can't buy magic stones after all. So, aiming for 20 silvers apiece is smart. Perhaps I should also sell 1 or 2 of my personal bills. After I acknowledged his words, we ended the meeting, and thus finished our preparations. The next day, I met up with the 3 idiots. After finishing their preparations, the trio was waiting for me. If we take the highway, we'll run straight into the Farmer's Kingdom, the Count's domain that Youm has spoken so much about. And that would mean meeting the greedy Count. So no thanks. So, we'll be walking through the forest. We are aiming for the small country Brumund, to meet with the Freedom Association's guildmaster and decide on a course of action. A year has passed since I was reincarnated into this world, and I am finally heading towards a human city. End of the chapter. I apologize for how poorly I read that.
No,
you didn't read
good.
poorly.
No
problem.
This came in. Just blame the translation, eh?
Meg, I'm gonna go get some sleep. I'm getting too tired.
Plus, you've been reading for a while. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 8:18. It's 8:35 right now. I need to...
Fucking killing it.
Thank you very much, Meg. Sorry I couldn't stay for longer. Good night, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you again.
No.
It's been an hour now.
Did he mute himself?
I did mute myself. Sorry. I said enjoy your rest, Jason. Thank you for telling me.
No problem. One more question.
I actually started reading.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a way to donate to you?
Is there a way to? I don't have any way to donate.
Oh,
yeah, you better make it though.
Vince, Vince, if you can hear me, I'm gonna donate to you, and if there's any possible way, give that to him, if it's even possible. Thank you. Have a good night, my friend.
No, thank you. Good night, Jason. And I said, yes, it is actually the translation, as it is translated from Japanese to English. Speaking of which, I enjoy reading chapters that start with a warning. Chapter 52, Journey. Editor's note.
Warning.
There are some parts that Yes. Editor's note. There are some parts that even I don't understand myself. Forgive me for any errors. That's the warning. I hope people will be able to understand this. The Devil Mulan was relieved to finally be able to report. She had left her best friend and the violent demon lord Milim behind in the city, which they were to monitor. But this was something completely outside of her expectations. It surprised her that a weak little slime is the head of the city. Furthermore, Milim's behavior was also something she couldn't understand. The way a demon lord thinks is something an ordinary person will never understand. Rather, isn't that particular demon lord relatively eccentric? On a cultural level, it seems the demon lord has made friends in the city that they were monitoring. What's more, the fact that the head of the town is a slime who can take on any form of the form of a masked person was also being reported. Just to be safe, the fact that Milim was staying in the city was not reported. I don't think she'll do anything that will violate the agreement between the Demon Lords, but considering the fact I can't understand what Milim is thinking, I must be very cautious. We definitely cannot use magic in front of Milim. I judge that communication magic, or magic in general, will instantly be detected by Milim. If she doesn't know my identity, there is a chance that she might not make a move. These are the types of things you report.
I see. I can use these. Good work. Please continue to monitor them.
Clayman said this happily, seemingly having come up with something. But this has nothing to do with Mulan. What is going on with my hips? As the garrison's shaman, she is serving as an officer. Stupid humans. I'm a devil, and yet they don't suspect a thing. Come on. Excellent. Although she looked down on them, talking to them for some time stirred up strange emotions in her heart. I'll let it be for the time being. I wish to enjoy these moments for a little longer. She made such a wish subconsciously. Thus, she went back to work without being too concerned. Scene change. The demon Grucius, now a member of the frontier garrison, followed his platoon as they advanced into the forest. For a beastman such as he, horse riding was mere child's play. As such, he naturally stood out in the team. Even when he held back his true abilities, he couldn't possibly be inferior to humans. Therefore, he was offered the role of vice captain for one of the very 3 platoons he was working in. However, he refused, stating that a newcomer should not hold such a position even after the platoon commander insisted. Even though he drew some attention to himself, as long as he maintained his current situation, everything would be fine. That's what he believed. However, what he is currently interested in what he is currently interested in is the group of goblin wolf riders that followed them. The strangely evolved star wolves and their riders, the hobgoblins. As if they were a skilled team, even their breathing is synchronized. This suggests a high level of proficiency. Above all, the one known as Gobuta was the best amongst the hobgoblins. Based on his intuition, the best course of action is to kill him on sight. Grucius curled his tongue. Originally, he was only planning to invite the Oni, but in this situation, it's very likely there are many other talented individuals. There are a total of 100 goblin wolf riders, and every one of them have talents I want, by all means. Amongst them are Captain Rigueur and the Vice Captain Gobuta. These two have an overwhelming presence over the others. There are also others, like the dragon youths that I see from time to time. They will also become good warriors with some training. The orc pioneers, well, they aren't much on their own, but truly shine when together in a group. I heard they are led by an orc lord called Gerudo. Ha! But I haven't seen him around the city. I heard he's always out transporting goods, but he's most likely a powerful individual.
What do you know? I'll be darned. This city is crazy. If I make a move, all this war potential will be ours.
In fact, when I take a closer look at the Oni, they're either my equal or even above me. Even though he is the weakest amongst the servants of the Beast King, this is still clearly something abnormal. Well, it's fine, isn't it? It's more fun this way. Having strong comrades is something good. Even if we failed, having powerful enemy is also desirable. That much is true. We, the Beastmen, are a race that thrives in battle. Strong enemies are something that we welcomed. Thus, while pondering about how he should invite them, he continued with his frontier garrison duties. I'm going to move this forward. I'm having trouble reading. Scene change. Yahoo! Nice! I'm very satisfied with the feeling of spaciousness after such a long time. When I was in the city, I had to pay attention to what I said. My mind feels like it's about to burst. Thus, I left all the problems in the city to the 2 Oni. But Benimaru said this himself.
Please leave everything regarding the city to us 2 Oni. We'll be able to accomplish anything.
That's what he said. I'm sure he'll manage somehow. Ranga has been on guard the whole time, but no signs of movements were spotted. Now it's Soe's turn to take over guard duty. He who doesn't sleep, Soe. By creating clones, he can get some sleep in shifts. Even though it's certainly a useful ability, I don't want to tell him that he must sleep himself. From the looks of things, no one's showing their true colors. To me, even though they don't seem to be related to Milim, they may be acquaintances. Ah, he's talking about the 2, right? Because this cannot be handled carelessly, we must monitor them carefully. Unfortunately, they don't seem to have made a move at all. If that's the case, then all we can do is to continue being vigilant. Since I can immediately return to the city with Shadow Step, I decided to leave the city for a little while. Or rather, I speculate that as soon as I'm gone, they're going to start making their moves. Milim has also just left, so they must make their move now. I was on alert whilst thinking about this, but after the first day I went out of town, nothing happened whatsoever. After 3 days as had passed, I'm starting to think that I must be overly worked up about things. They also seem to be fairly strong. Leave it to me! And because he said that, I entrusted him to lead the way. After hearing that, I am now enjoying the spacious feeling after such a long time. I'm taking this route because roads haven't been developed yet. After getting off the streets, I followed the animal trail. Is this really all right? If that's not enough, we advanced through a variety of different routes. However, yes, this doesn't make much sense, does it? However, there are veterans here, so I left it to them. Even though he has a tearful face, let's believe in him. Besides, it's not like this is the first time he's come by here. One moment later, oi, oi, we're not actually lost, are we? I said that as a joke. There's no way we would have gotten lost here. There's no way we would have gotten lost here. His wording has become strange. Everything is fine, right? Referring to the map in my mind, it seems we've walked by here just now. I must be imagining things. Oi, this is no joke. You are lost, aren't you? The three looked at each other. We're very sorry, they all shouted in unison. So he's with the adventurers, and they're leading the way to the city. And I can't turn the page. Come on. There we go. And they apologized. Anyway, it seems that they have gotten lost trying to take a shortcut. Are these guys really professionals? Well, whatever. I guided them back onto the road, the one they are familiar with. We passed by a field of illusion flowers in full bloom. That night... that might be the cause of us getting lost. I didn't tell them that, though. How could we have gotten lost in such a place? I may have lost a little self-confidence. I'm overwhelmed if you professional... Ah, God. I'm overwhelmed. If you professionals paid more respect to the road and followed it, then maybe we would not have been lost. They looked a little pitiful, so I told them about the illusion flowers. That's a B-ranked harvesting mission objective. It's pretty difficult, you know, Ellen proclaimed enthusiastically. In addition to being material for magic items, it's also quite a rare flower. After a lot of trouble, we returned to pick some. We managed to pick 40 and divided it up to 10 per person. Perhaps I can understand its uses by storing it within my stomach and analyzing it. About a week's worth of time has passed, and we finally arrived at the exit of the forest. Certainly, but I wonder how much less time would be wasted if I took out the number of days we spent being lost. Well, there's no need for me to rush for this journey. Rather, long trips are much more fun. Well, a slime's body can't get tired anyway, but I'll need to remain clean. So I asked Ellen to use cleaning magic. Because Ellen used cleaning magic, I learned it. When I tried using it, my magic amplified the effects of the spell, cleaning everyone in the process. Thanks to that, the journey was much more pleasant than usual. Starting a fire was also easy, as I stayed up all night during the night watch. Rimuru-san, let's adventure together forever, Ellen exclaimed this emotionally, but as usual, I declined. If this was before I met anyone, that would have been a good offer. But I'm the head of a city now. I can leave the governing to the others, but I can't leave it uncared for. Anyways, if someday my presence isn't needed anymore, I'll think about the offer then. A thought suddenly crossed my mind. Even if I accepted, this will depend on whether or not she's still alive by that time. I wonder, is this how Milim feels? To make an important friend, only to outlive them? Would I choose loneliness instead? I don't know. The current me doesn't have enough experience to determine that. Scene change. I shook my sadness away, and we went towards the roads. Our destination is the small country of Bruin. This particular country is so small that all the nobles are feudal lords of villages. It's really just a country which comprises of its royal capital. I was being led by the trio to the city, which housed Brumun's Freedom Association branch, or Adventuring Guild. However, the capital is the only large city, and in the castle town lies the Brumun's Freedom Association branch. We have arrived in the first village, earlier than I expected, and the carriage left as scheduled. We arrived at noon and ate lunch at a restaurant. Seems like the traffic is not congested, as it is only a small country, which is always nice.
Hear me! I am the mighty axe! Rah!
And with a single swing, I killed this fellow.
Oh, as expected of Biddo-san. Big brother, Biddo, this is a strong monster, isn't it? You mean you killed it by yourself? More or less. A single-horned bear is no match for me.
When we heard the conversation, we took a peek at the horned bear they were talking about, the main subject of the story. The horned bear made me almost spit out all of the food in my mouth when I saw it. It was only the horn of a horned rabbit embedded into the forehead of a bear, laid on the floor as if it was a monster's corpse. Page change. Eventually. The bear is not a monster, but rather it's classified as an animal, but it's hard to tell the difference. Fortunately, I have my analyze ability. Without it, I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference at all. A clear way to tell the difference is whether a magic stone drops or not. Even so, for an ordinary person, that's simply just cruel, because it's so rare. Even if it didn't drop a magic stone, due to it being an animal, who knows how many of them animals would have been killed before people realize that they are animals, not monsters. Well, even though demonic energy seeps from monsters, it's still rather difficult to judge. In the end, due to the high level of my skill, I am able to come up with this conclusion. Oi, the guys in that corner are all proud about that fake horned bear. Aren't they just like ants? Huh? Fake? You saw through the trick? Of course. It's the horn of a horned rabbit, welded on with magic. As expected, you saw through it. No, Dunna. God damn it, who was talking? I'm so bad at this. No, Dunna. That person's purpose is not to flaunt. If they took this over to the king, they may become this village's hero. They're doing this not to protect the village, but rather to fill their bellies and live in fancy inns. I see. I understand the guild member's explanation. In short, they're scammers. The world has so many different kinds of scammers that it has become a profession. I was planning to leave after exposing them. Wait a moment. You just accused me of being a fake, making a fool out of me. I hope you're prepared for the consequences. I wonder, why do all the dumb ones have such good hearing? Furthermore, they even decided to pick a fight when I was still idling. You people even believed in such a fraud. Uh-huh. Isn't that Capo-san? Ellen's also here. Isn't that person over there Guido? After hearing these words, people flooded the dining room immediately. What is this, you three? What's this? You three are terrible. You should have given me a... God. Eventually we'll get some flow. Eventually I'll be able to turn the page. You three are terrible. Oh, you three are terrible. You should have given me a shout out if you came back. Who are you? Have we met before? Oh, come on. I may look all run down and tattered now, but it's me, Biddo. I was receiving guidance from you in the capital after picking a fight. It's me, Biddo. Well, that was unexpected. This group of three idiots are unexpectedly famous. They seem acquainted with the fraud to a certain degree, but the other people seem to respect the three as well. It's rather strange that they don't seem all that happy, even though they're being respected. But the biggest surprise to me was the fact that these three are actually famous adventurers. They are mainly famous for their sudden rise in prominence, though, recently. Even so, it's because they have brought along monsters from my town with them during missions. That's why they were able to perform so significantly well. I looked at the three, and they looked away in panic. I'll not press them on this matter. That's probably something they don't want to mention to the people here. Even so, even if I don't touch the matter, it's still there. Do you get it now? I'm assuming he looked at them disapprovingly. And all three shout together, of course, we'll guide you to the capital, every step of the way. Then it's all good. The trip ended smoothly, even after such a thing happened. Thus, we arrived at the royal capital of the small country of Bremund. And that is the end of that chapter. That was so stilted and jilted. All right. This will be the last chapter of the evening.
Right now.
Thank you kindly. I will mute myself to take a drink of water, and this will be the last chapter of this reading session. Then, if I'm feeling up to it, I'll give you your chapter 2 of 50 Shades. Chapter 53.
Wait, is Jimmy's birthday today? I don't know, someone asked you.
Water, the lifeblood of human existence. Chapter 53, Freedom Association. We proceeded into Brumun's royal capital. The city appears old but sturdy. The pedestrians appear bright and cheerful, with no gloominess in sight, probably due to the fact that there is no visible damage from powerful monsters or other threats. And, as you'd expect from such a remote country, there were many people geared up. Based on my appraisal ability, most armors and weapons used are of inferior quality. Similarly, they also seemed rather weak. However, smelling the air of a downtown area after so long was pretty exciting. Buying some roasted meat on a stick, we continued onward. I have no idea what meat this is, but it's strangely delicious. Actually, I can analyze the meat to find out where it came from, but I won't do that. I have something else that needs to be analyzed. The sauce. This sauce could come in handy for research, though it is unfair to the chef. Eating something lets me learn its recipe. So I made a mental note of the required ingredients for this meal. I am advancing further in, guided by the trio, with a specific store in mind. The Magic Tool Store. Normal tool stores and magic tool stores are very different than what people from my world would imagine. When adventurers, for example, refer to tool stores, they typically mean magic ones, and it is one of those magical tool stores, I'll simply call it a tool store from now on, that was our destination. To learn the current market prices, I'm planning to sell medium-grade medicine today. However, even if I want to sell it at 15 silvers apiece, I need to first know the price of the low-grade medicines that are sold. I also want to know if there are any products made from illusion flowers, or something related to them. If we turn them into the guild, we can make 10 silvers per bouquet, though you'd think you could make a lot of money this way. But going into the forest to search for this elusive flower often proves pointless, so most people abstain. So, if you're planning on becoming a permanent harvesting adventurer, you shouldn't expect to become rich quick. Thus, usually people find them while adventuring somewhere and come to sell them. The buyer then collects them and turns them over to whomever has requested them, which would mean that harvesting requests tend to stick around for years. It's a lengthy process, and since I have lots of such medicinal plants and flowers, I'd want to know their current prices. So, we entered the store. A peculiar smell filled the room, and the store itself gave off a queer aura. A store you'd expect to be run by some elderly witch. Actually, the owner looked exactly like that. I looked around, quickly evaluating the goods. Sadly, I didn't see any rare items. Low-grade potions are in stock, and at a higher price. Why? Simple. The neighboring farmer's kingdom has stopped allowing goods to come from the dwarf kingdom. Though I guess I over-exaggerated. They are merely preventing any goods that could be used by the military to reach here. And since high-quality potions no longer arrive from the Dwarven Kingdom, they have no choice but to sell the inferior stuff made by the local pharmacists. Besides, since they're making things by boiling medicinal herbs found in the forests and caves, the medicine they produce is naturally inferior. Do I smell an opportunity? At the moment, low-grade potions, quality normal, effect 20%, is sold for 2 silver coins. In comparison, abysmal potion, quality low, effect 15%, is sold for 1 silver coin. In pelvic thrusting. But that looks a bit weird. So, even a small change in effect can lead to such a drastic change in price. I guess considering that it could save your life, people are rarely stingy with medicine. And with such shortage of material, adventurers who come across medicinal herbs will quickly find a buyer, even if their guild doesn't accept it. It's always in demand, it seems. Next, illusion flowers. From this flower, you can make hallucinogenics and bewitching perfumes. The effects of these items are hallucinogens, used to amplify hypnotism-type magic. Taking it normally will induce hallucinations, leads to addiction. Bewitching perfume amplifies the effects of hypnotism-type magic by up to 30%, increases resistance to hypnotism magic by up to 30%. That would be for quality items. That would be for a quality item. Of course, normal ones would increase the effect by only 20%. What is amplified? The success rate of the skill, the extent of control, and the duration. It is an item coveted by most practitioners of this type of magic. However, addiction is bad. It's probably similar to our world's hallucinogens, though I doubt they sell it to just anybody. By the way, while I was analyzing the poison, I happen to have acquired some resistance to it. At this rate, I might get a new skill soon. If I harvest and analyze some more poisonous plants, of course. Eating the plant would be a bad idea, but I wouldn't get poisoned if I absorbed it into my stomach. So I can't die from poison. And since I wouldn't get food poisoning either, I taste tested most dishes during the trip. But I digress. The effects of these items are easy to dispel, but surely they cost a lot.
Ha! Hallucinogens and bewitching perfume? You can't get such amazing items here. Rather than in a small country like ours, you should be looking elsewhere.
The store's granny told me. I don't know, I hope that sounded like a grumpy old witch. I turned 2 pages instead of 1. Did she think that I was ridiculing her? Chances are the fact that she has even heard of such medicines is impressive. In fact, the medicine sold here is made by her. She's pretty learned, it seems. My bad. The thing is, I happen to have gotten my hands on some of those, but I'm not sure if it's actually the real deal. I even borrowed a gold coin to buy it, so I'm curious, I said, trying to deceive her.
What did you say? Show me. I'll check it for you. I won't charge you, so rest easy.
The granny replied. Since she asked, I had no choice but to take out a small bag with a hallucinogen I made prior. I have quite a few more bags like this. The hallucinogen is fine like sugar, but red in color. The granny took it from my hands and used identification magic on it.
Oh my, it's real! Aren't you lucky? With this much, you can easily make 2 gold coins. But production and sales of this item is forbidden to amateurs. It can only be sold by magicians with a special license, so beware. If you want to pawn it, however, I'd be happy to buy it from you for 2 gold coins,
she said, surprised. Turning a bouquet into the guild would earn you 10 silvers, whereas processing it would yield 2 gold coins. That's 20 times higher. Moreover, you can also make some bewitching perfume from it. All you need is to dilute the extract with water. So this is another product that will sell well. I'm glad we picked it. I mean, I knew magic items were expensive, but for them to be so expensive, well, it's my profit, so I don't complain. But now that she had evaluated it for me, I can't just leave without buying anything. Doesn't she have any good items? Seeing a complete lack of rare items, I started searching for anything I might need. Starting to get blurry vision. Come on, turn the page, please. And then I found it. Dummy's Guide, Easy to Understand Elemental Magic Theories. A magic book titled thus. Seems like it's a part of a popular publication, but to think that it is even sold out here, well, I can read some, and even simply reading letters is practice, so let's buy the book.
Aha! So, little girl, you're aspiring to be a magician. Haha, that's a beginner's book. Kids who want to enroll in an academy study from this book. But you know, you can't become a magician just from reading this book. Are you sure you want to buy it?
A magic academy? How wonderful. I want to go check it out someday. Someday, I'll use Great Sage to get all the magic in this world.
Yeah, no problem. How much is it? Child, your face is pretty, but you've got the tongue of a middle-aged man. Well, unfortunately, it isn't cheap. Magic is a rich man's hobby. The masses, without connections or something, can never learn magic. Just this book costs a single gold coin. Too much, right?
I wonder, since I'm wearing the mask, is the granny guessing by my voice? I don't really care either way. Maybe I should change my voice to seem older. Well, it's too late now, and since it's a pain, I'll leave it as is for now. Since I'm around 150 centimeters tall right now, should I claim to be a young boy? It's been a year since I was born, but my soul is at least 38 years old. In other words, it's hard to figure out my age. In any case, I'm a child at heart. So if I look young, that isn't a problem. An enigmatic boy wearing a mask. Don't fret, there's plenty of delusional idiots calling themselves heroes and demon lords, so I'd fit right in. So, let's introduce myself thus from now on. Magic is for the rich, huh? There's probably plenty among them that are incapable of learning magic too. A single gold coin is about 100,000 yen. Though they do seem to have a printing press, I wonder why there's so few printed books.
No problem. I'll buy the book for 1 gold. However, I wonder why it's so expensive. That's simple. Magic books, you see, can only be written down by hand. Though the ghost researchers have the copying machine, it rejects magic manuscripts. So, any magic book on the market has been written by hand. By the way, this book I wrote myself when I was younger, so please take care of it.
I see. I didn't know, so thank you. I'll treat it with care. I said, handing over a single gold coin. Transaction complete.
Doesn't look it, but she's rich, huh? But still a child, right? What are your parents doing handing their kids this much money?
She grumbled to herself while handing over the book. Magic books are handwritten, so I should expect them to be expensive. From now on, whether I stop by the Magic Academy or another royal capital, I will buy every magic book in sight. So I decided, haha. The trio have also purchased whatever they came for. Well, so I say, but they only came to restock on potions and other herbs, so they've been waiting for me. After thanking the owner, I left the store. It was a time well spent. After leaving the store, I stopped the trio. You guys, you understand, right? Silence. The trio each handed me 10 illusion flower bouquets, and to each I handed a gold coin. Thus, I have 16 gold coins left. So, lots more to spend. I'd much rather process the illusion flowers myself. It would be wasteful to hand them over to the guild. During my conversation with the trio, they looked as if they wanted to ask something. Wait a minute, Rimuru-san. When had you processed the illusion flowers? Actually, it's considered really difficult to do. There have been people who died from the poisonous gases that the plants let out. I see. So it really was such a dangerous plant. I guess the price is fitting. Processing such a weed is simple for someone like I. No fair. I can't even do it. As expected of Dana. I wouldn't be surprised if anything now. Me too. Dana is someone who can do anything. 3 jealous idiots. But other than Ellen, the other 2 have already accepted the facts, and considering that we have researched the cost as desired, we headed to the Freedom Association. We reached Bramoon's Freedom Association branch. The guild was at the end of the road leading out of the commercial district, where the magic store was. It's a stately building made of stone. The dwarf kingdom often dug down into the stone, so most buildings were at least 3 floors tall. The lizardmen would make use of windows designated with magic to light their houses. But this is different. It depends on natural light. So it was under the impression that people... So I was under the impression that people didn't build high-rise houses in this world. Well, whether you can consider 5 stories high-rise is a different story. When we entered, I noticed that they are somehow regulating the temperature. It was pleasant inside. While I actually can't feel the change in temperature due to my resistances, I could tell the difference by using heat detection. I guess they are keeping the temperature constant with magic. Surprisingly advanced, I must say. I had thought that the world travelers kept the world relatively primitive, but I guess they've been trying to develop it in a direction different than ours. Maybe, if there were no monsters or demon lords, this world... Turn the page. Eventually. I did it again, turned it twice. This world would be a true magic society. However, it can also be said that all the current knowledge has been researched to counter monsters. Since the demon lords exercised restraint, the humans bought them off by handing over fertile land. So when power shifts in favor of humans, an invasion into their realms is a legitimate possibility. That thought has been preached by the Western Saints Church, I heard. True, monsters are stronger right now, but no one knows what the future will hold. I guess I need to implement some real foreign policy to protect the rights of my city. I'm glad I came here. By seeing a human city, by learning something about the humans, I can better prepare against possible future threats. Thus, I decided to see more and more things. Now then, I shouldn't stand in the doorway. I was guided further in by the trio. The inside reminded me of a municipal building's reception room. There was a desk like one you'd see at an airport, where you surrender your baggage, with a plate that reads, Sales Counter. All in all, there are 3 counters separated from each other. The sales counter I just mentioned, counters for visitors and other general users, and counters specific for adventurers. The room is separated into these 3 sectors. The sales counter is exactly what it sounds like. Items that you found or went to obtain on request are bought over here. The general counter is used by beginners and Freedom Association members who live in the city. That's where you go to register or retire from the guild. The adventurer's counter can only be used by authorized individuals. An adventurer is a Freedom Association member who either goes foraging, subjugating, or hunting on request. Some take on different types of tasks, but most people still refer to them by the generic term, adventurer. Furthermore, an adventurer is someone who has to have some basic combat ability. Combat ability. For example, there's a specialized division called the Magician's Guild. To be affiliated with them, you need to be able to use some kind of magic. However, affiliation with them does not guarantee usefulness to the Freedom Association. It's no good if all you can do is use some magic. Only after you have lived by foraging, subjugating, or hunting are you recognized as an adventurer. So, what are the merits to becoming an adventurer? While every Freedom Association branch is affiliated with a specific country, its members are able to change countries easily. Leaving the city or even crossing the border is far easier for an adventurer. Of course, this may not apply during wartime, but this allows for greater mobility. In other words, compared to people with clear allegiances, guild members are able to freely select a country where they want to go and live. Well, not like there's a big difference other than the taxes you'd have to pay. The origin of the name Freedom Association comes from adventurers who wanted to be able to freely move between countries. Well, even so, there's not that many people who constantly switch countries. This was explained to me by the three idiots on our way to the counters. After receiving this explanation, we proceeded to the back. Hey, we're leading our guests to the back rooms, so let us pass. Ah, Kabul-san, you have returned. Who might this be? Yeah, Guildmaster's guests. Treat him with respect, please. After that exchange, we were let through, and in the background, Kabul is so cool. Ellen's son is gorgeous, always so beautiful. Fools! Don't understand Guido's greatness. But who is that kid? Why treat her with respect? I heard the people in the background say this, but couldn't really understand them. You heard them. Why could you not understand them? Why are the three idiots idolized here? Even in the first village we stopped by, they were famous. We stopped in front of a room in the back. The room was guarded by two soldiers who opened the door on Kabul's signal. In the middle of the room is a magic circle, similar to the one that Besta drew, one that allows travel both ways. I was guided to the magic circle, and we used it to teleport. It can be used to travel up to the 4th floor. The 5th floor is accessible via a different circle. To prevent infiltration from spies and such, how prudent. Now that I think about it, there are no windows past the 4th floor. Starting to lose my mouth. Probably to prevent break-in. The magic circle to the 5th floor lies directly beyond the Guildmaster's room. We entered the room. Welcome, one who commands monsters. I am this branch's Guildmaster, Fuze. A short man with a vigilant face extended his greetings. I see. He definitely fits the description of a Guildmaster. He looks plenty strong and seems rather capable, but if anything, it's the aura about him. He seems to be a rather gutsy individual. I am Rimuru Tempest, ruler of the new monster country, Tempest, of the Jura Forest. Pleased to make your acquaintance. After finishing our introductions, we started our questioning. Since our meeting lasted long into the night, I decided to stay in one of the Freedom Association's rooms. P.S. Sadly, although I had plenty of money left and finally arrived at a human city, I couldn't venture into a new frontier for now. That, friends, is the end of chapter 53. Oh. We will be ending the reading of regarding being reincarnated to a slime bear. And at the request of some individuals here, I will now attempt to read chapter 2 of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh boy.
Mag, do you want it streamed?
Heck yeah.
Mag, they want me to ask if you want it streamed.
My mom's
on the,
not letting me listen to this.
Wally Squad
It's too
channel.
sexual.
What was that, sorry?
Do you want it streamed on the Lolly Squad channel or not?
Should we?
Should he?
I mean, ask the chat in the stream. Do they want to hear it? It's not necessarily up to me. And now to load up where we left off.
I'm told because of YouTube guidelines, it's a no-go.
Okay. Then, thank you all viewers from the YouTube stream. Looks like we
Time
won't
for
be
the
seeing
after
that.
party, boys. Private reading.
Don't worry, it's not too lewd, I don't believe. Not for a while yet. This one, I believe, is much easier for me to read, but I need a drink of water. Hello there, Ace. Looking quite lovely in your small Lolita dress.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Oh dear.
Hi, Mom.
I hope you all enjoyed that. Now for the silliness.
Oh boy.
You mean
Here
that
we
wasn't
go.
silly the whole time?
If you guys can hear me, I'd like to thank you all for coming along on this stream. We will be streaming that next week. This stream won't be going on. I will see you guys next time. If you guys want to follow Magnanix on his social media, then all links to his social media and stuff is down in the description. Yeah, I'll see you guys. See you guys next time.